On this episode of the NWA 1984 Project, WrestleMania recap, Wrestler Spotlight, Magnum TA and Madril, and the Andre Giant documentary, and much, much more. And away we go. And welcome back to the NWA 1984 Project. I'm your host, Juan Cena, and with me, as always, is Matt Riley. How are you doing tonight, Matt?
Damn pissed.
And a bottle?
Yes. No, I'm heated, man. Heated.
Okay.
There's also controversy going on in wrestling right now, and then we're going to get to the heart of it.
And the heart and the mind and the souls. So first, we're going to talk about WrestleMania. WrestleMania was this last weekend. I think overall, most of the festivities this WrestleMania weekend were pretty good. The WrestleMania show itself was probably middle of the road, but we'll get into that more with Luke Martin. But we'll go over NXT TakeOver.
Yes.
So NXT TakeOver in New Orleans took place April 7th, 2018 from the Smoothie King Center in beautiful, palatial New Orleans, Louisiana.
It's the best when Smoothie King is the name of the place. We're here at the Smoothie King Center!
Yeah, that's when naming rights go wrong.
Yeah, that's
You ever had a Smoothie King?
I'll tell you something. I have not, but I'll tell you something. Up here in Boston area, having yourself a smoothie means something totally different.
Oh.
Just saying. It's something you get from the back lot of a parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds gross.
Yeah. Oh, depends on giving or getting, I guess.
Fantastic.
Nothing wrong with it.
No. First, we're going to start off with the inaugural NXT North American Championship match. This is to crown the new North American Championship. I do like the looks of that belt, though. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it grew on me. The first picture was like, eh. Then they changed the angle and it made it look a lot nicer. You couldn't really see the globe behind it at first.
Yeah.
It gives that nice, North America, Canada. Okay.
Yeah, man, I dig it. It reminds, it's a good historical belt. We've seen it in Mid-South and the old WWF back in the day. So pretty cool to see that they're reusing that name again. So that's pretty cool. It was a ladder match that featured Adam Cole, EC3, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and Velveteen Dream. Now, for me, I love this match. I thought it was fucking fantastic. They fucking rocked the fucking house on this match. I am in love with Ricochet. I have a mad crush on Ricochet. But good to see Adam Cole get the win here. I thought this match was fucking... It blew me away. I'm like, holy shit, this match was fantastic. What are your thoughts?
I agreed. It was few spots I was a little uncomfortable with, danger-wise. Just, I know these ladders are breaking all the time, but, man, they're aluminum and it's sharp. And I always think back to what happened to Fit Finlay. Just got to be careful, man. So I don't want to see anybody get really badly hurt. But it was impressive. It was my first real, live match with seeing Ricochet perform.
He's so fucking smooth.
Yeah, man. I will say, I think what it is he reminds me of The Rock a little bit, but in the overselling. Like, he really sells. And I don't mind that. It's the goofiness of it. Like, whatever, dude, fine. Other people are like, oh my god, it looks so unreal. Dude, there was a clown on here 10 minutes ago wrestling. Is it really reality now? Is that like, it's people go like, wrestling's fake. Like, are you watching Supernatural? Are you watching movies in the theater? Do you sit there and go, Optimus Prime looks fake? I'm just saying. Like, come on. I enjoyed the match. I thought EC3 was going to be dead at several points. It was a good presentation all around. Everyone got a chance to shine, do some spots.
That Velveteen elbow drop was fucking insane.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to fall off that fucking ladder because there's points in the match where he looked uncomfortable with the heights.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit. He's, they kept on mentioning he's like only like 22, 23 years old. So
now when you're that young, make some crazy moves. But I enjoyed it. Glad I'm looking forward to what they do with Adam Cole with the belt. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Up next, we have Shayna Baszler, who defeated Ember Moon by technical submission. This was a singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. They went 12 minutes, 56 seconds. What are your thoughts here?
It was good. I think really kudos to Baszler for her performance, because the selling the arm, the using the ring post to reallocate her shoulder was a nice touch.
Yeah.
It was a well-done performance by both, but she really shined there. So, good timing. Ember Moon promoted up to the main roster. That's fine. I think the performance was really strong by her. So let's see what she does next. Having Ronda Rousey in the audience, and you're like, here's our main heel, who's loved by the most popular woman on the main roster now. Oh, and I'm sure you can use that as eventual. She gets called up and she has to face Ronda at some point. Best friends.
It might be a good possibility that Ronda gets sent down.
I actually am hoping they do, because I think it would be better for her. Yeah. I not only as a fan, but as a performer, to get the audience behind you. That audience, I don't want to say it's ECW-ish, but it's more authentic in a way. Yeah. Because you have legit fans there that know the spots and can kind of cheer the right times. Whereas in a big house, I think Stephanie McMahon at the Superstar Shakeup should be like, you've been demoted. Yeah. That's going to be awesome, because you can say, you know what, you're not going to be in this show, you're not going to be in that show. You're going to NXT. And then if you're a fan, you want to watch her down there. Yeah. And maybe her and Baszler form a stable, or whatever. That's my thoughts on that match. Excellent. Well done.
I also agree. I think that match was... next up, we had the Undisputed Era of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, who defeated the Authors of Pain and Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. This was a triple threat match for the NXT Tag Team Championship, Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Trophy. This match went 11:38. I like to see Adam Cole selling here. I thought that was a nice touch. And the turn on this match was amazing. Did not see that fucking coming.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise. It's one of those things I kept thinking, what are they going to do? And Roderick Strong was almost in it, and the Undisputed Era a while back, and they turned on him, and they kind of beat him up. I only think the one thing I would have sold more of, and I think this works well, is when Barry Windham turned, Tully and Arn were like, what just happened? And JJ was pointing at him you got it, And there was an angle where they're like, well, Tully and I weren't on board with it, whatever. I think if Adam Cole has looked at him and nodded, or, because he was happy about it, but he took the armband off. If he took the armband off and went, you've earned it, It would have been more legitimate than just well, you kicked that guy in the head, you gave us the win, okay. Yeah, good kid. Yeah, good kid.
You're a good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
I wonder if they're going to put I wonder if they're going to do a Freebird rule and have Roderick, team with O'Reilly while Adam Cole's defending that North American Championship.
I'm positive that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
and then when Fish comes back, you can rotate that. I just think it's going to make it easy, because Adam Cole's going to be working double duty otherwise. I think it's interesting, because it's one of those things of okay, I'm curious if this was the plan all along,
Or Roderick just did it on his own, own free will, out of nowhere, or was this the plot? Or what have you. Thought it was really well done turn. And they did an attack during Access too the next day.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So that was a nice
during Access.
Well, they have matches going on.
Oh, okay.
They have random matches. They actually had indie guys too. They had Keith Lee and a couple other guys perform at Access. So because you understand that Access takes place in the arena, so when I went to 29, all the autograph signings were taking place in the concourse, and then there's some that are in the arena but up high, in the seats. And then on the ground floor, there's a ring and all the other shit that's going on around it. So they constantly run matches. So if you want to sit down and take in a match, you can. If you want to go and hang out by the Raw set and take a picture, you can do that. If you want to play WWE 2K18, you can do that. Or if you want to go upstairs and get autographs, you can do that as well. Next up, we had Aleister Black, who defeated Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega. This was a singles match for the NXT Championship. This match went 18:30. Now, I think Zelina Vega is probably the best valet/manager out there going right now.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah. She's also very good with her moves, so it makes it very.
Did you see that Hurricane Rana she did?
Yeah.
I fucking spiked them. That shit was awesome. A lot of people are saying that it was too early to pull the trigger on Aleister Black. I disagree. I think he was primed and ready to go. I almost didn't get called up. right? He did not get called up. So, they're probably going to go on in the future from here, which is going to be really, really cool. Again, a great match. Aleister Black is amazing. Almas is amazing. So, good match across the board. So, I think they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a good match, good finish. I am curious if Almas gets called up. I could see that happening, but I'll see him come back and try to win the belt back. I guess Gargano was tweeting that he's not going to go up just yet. He's got more to finish, so that's fine. But I think if you have Gargano, Finn, AJ, and Bryan form a stable called the Little Runts, like
because people midgets.
Well, they're similar styles. They're too similar. It's like if people don't like them, they won't cheer. Just get over it.
Yeah, for real. So. Well, I agree with that. Fantastic match all around. And lastly, an unsanctioned match, a lights-out match, perhaps, between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Gargano gets the win here by submission. If Gargano, since Gargano won, he was reinstated to NXT. So, Matt, what's your thoughts on this match?
I'll give you one of my first things. I realized the match was 36 minutes long. All right?
Yeah.
Reading a thing about it. You know how you know it's a good match? When you didn't realize. I thought it was like 20 minutes. It was just really well done.
Yeah.
Good pauses, good interaction with the crowd, good spots. The only spot I didn't like was the power bomb to the concrete.
That was all splat.
You can do a similar thing without, just neck injuries are so prevalent now. You just don't need to do that.
Do you think it was worse, that or the suplex off the table?
The suplex on the table, I'm thinking that padding's like 4 inches deep, so you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be a thud, sure, no problem. But comparatively, I'd rather land on 4 inches of cushion than opposed to flat concrete. That match was excellent. I love the finish. A lot of good psychology. I really think that they can get.
This might be the case that Tommaso Ciampa might have the most heat in the WWE in total.
Maybe, yeah.
This is just true heel heat.
Yeah, and I think what it teaches too is it's what you don't say sometimes. When he came over his promos and just looked at the audience, I always think to myself when people talk about McMahon this and McMahon that, like Roman Reigns, all this crap, and I think, well, okay, but if you look at NXT and it's like the next wave, I think when McMahon finally does step aside, and he will at some point, you're going to have good hands running the show.
Agreed.
So I think the future looks bright. Triple H does a fantastic job. I know there's a lot more people than just Triple H down there. I don't want to short anybody out.
Shawn Michaels was the agent for this match.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Man, it's like they do a great job with these guys, and they're producing. And someone was on one of the shows I listened to, I think it was Mass Man show, but one of the shows was talking about they're cranking out guys pretty consistently. Now, having said that, we can talk later about the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania and some of the debuts. But I also think in some ways there are some characters that work in that environment that don't work in the main stage.
Right.
So we'll get to that later. But this match was excellent. This is what you want to build to. And, it's one of those things that a guy I work with, we were talking about the show, and we were saying, this might be the best top-to-bottom pay-per-view from this network we've ever seen. As a one-shot, if you were saying, okay, watch one pay-per-view and you get hooked, this is the show. Because they also did a really good job of packaging beforehand. So you went in okay, this is why these guys are feuding, blah, blah.
It's funny. If you strip away all the stuff I don't like about WWE, it becomes NXT.
Yeah.
You take a lot of the bullshit that I fucking can't stand, and you strip it all away, and it's NXT.
I'll tell you the one thing I hated about the pay-per-view, or WrestleMania, was the constant promotion for the network. Dude, if I'm watching,
it's
I
free.
Have the network.
Well, the pre-show was also on USA too.
Yeah, I always think it was if you're watching the Super Bowl, watch the Super Bowl live. I am watching the Super Bowl live. It's
between that and the Paige trailer or movie.
Oh my! Okay, we can talk about that if you want.
We'll talk about that now. That shit was horrifying.
Paige should not be drunk before doing a promo for her movie.
It's fucking awful.
She looked really awkward. I mean, I don't know if it was on purpose or if they were doing a rib because she shot 3 takes and they wanted that one to mess with her.
Yeah.
But
how does it even make air? Shit.
She's
now she's a meme now, for Christ's sake. So that shit was horrifying.
It is. And I'll say this, I don't know anybody that was like, hey, when's Paige getting a movie? But you know what? It's out there. It's coming out. So The Rock looks good in it.
I'm gonna check it out regardless. I mean,
yeah.
I would watch No Holds Barred too. You know, because I'm ridiculous. But NXT was an amazing show. Again, the takeovers have always been, they've outshined main roster pay-per-views for the last, I would almost say, 2 years at this point. So, you know, I'm excited to see the next one when it comes out, for SummerSlam weekend. So, that's going to be pretty awesome.
I'll just say in closing for NXT, my thoughts are they showed that you don't need to have a card with 15 matches. You can do it. You have the power to do it. But it's more compelling to put a 2-hour presentation together that's really well done, that gets you excited. And what you do is they talk about the brass ring. You know what? Make those matches. You don't just show up and get to be in the pay-per-view.
All right.
Like, I kept seeing people saying, like, I'm on WrestleMania. You're in the pre-show. That's like me saying I'm in the game plan. Yeah, I'm in the movie, but I'm an extra. I'm nothing special.
You're in the game plan?
Yes. But it's just like...
Can I see it?
Yes.
Oh, we got to talk about that later.
Okay. I thought you knew that.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, but my point is that, like, I don't go around, like, I remember the guys who go on IMDb and put themselves as a character. I'm like, dude, you were an extra. Get off it. It's just like, I get that, like, wrestling, like, the battle royals were just kind of like, and we'll talk about that later. I guess we're going to WrestleMania. I have a couple of major beefs with this past couple of days. I'm just like, ugh.
All right, so that is NXT in a nutshell. Now we're going to pass it over to Luke Martin, our modern wrestling correspondent. And we're going to talk a little bit about WrestleMania. And I'm here with modern wrestling correspondent Luke Martin, and we're going to talk about WrestleMania 34. WrestleMania 34 took place from the Superdome in beautiful and palatial New Orleans, Louisiana. We're going to go over each match individually, and we're going to skip the pre-show matches because they're pre-show matches. We're going to start out here with Seth Rollins, who defeated The Miz and Finn Balor in a triple threat match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. That match went 15-30. So, Luke, what's your thoughts on this match?
It's sad that Seth Rollins is now a White Walker, but it did allow him to defeat The Miz and Finn Balor.
Are they turning the Miz? Are they turning the Miz babyface?
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know, because he sent the guy like the Miz Taraj to the back.
Right, that's such a babyface move. So you had a match here with 3 babyfaces, which I think screwed up the psychology a little bit. Because I like the Miz personally. Like I think I like his character, and to me, he's one of those guys that really paid his dues, and he went through some real shit to get where he's at today. So I have an appreciation for the Miz. I like Finn. I like all 3 of these guys. So
that's a plus. Yeah, I don't know what the Miz's thing is, because then the next night on Raw they had like a match. It was like Jeff Hardy, Seth, and Finn versus the Miz and the Miz Taraj. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. The Miz.
They should have him come out the Family Man like fucking Ricky Steamboat did.
They should not do that.
They fucking destroyed Ricky Steamboat.
How do you fucking?
He's like, I'm fucking retiring. Fuck this shit.
He's like, oh hey, I want some vacation. No, you're fired. All right. So anyway, it was a good match.
It was fun.
Good opening match. Yeah, it's it's good way to start the night. 3 solid guys out there. It's a really good match. I mean, there's nothing more that they could have done, and it was nice to see. Seth Rollins is like a Grand Slam champ, so that's cool. Nobody really looked shitty. Just good. It was cool. Like Seth pinned the Miz, so it was like. Everything was clean. There wasn't anything like that. So it was just a good match.
Perfectly acceptable wrestling.
Yeah, and the little graphic that Miz came out, one of the descriptors was hot wife. So that
It's true.
that was hilarious.
I enjoyed this match. I think it was fast paced. It was fun. Perfectly acceptable wrestling here. Glad to see Seth Rollins with another championship. Curious to see what they, all 3 of them do moving forward. I don't know if the Miz is taking any time off or what have you, but we'll see. Next up, we had Charlotte Flair, who defeated Asuka, ending the streak by submission. And this was a singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, and this match went 13:05. So what are your thoughts?
This is the best match of the night, hands down.
Agreed.
Any complaints that I had about women's matches not being physical enough, this match, there were so many spots that looked like they legitimately hurt. There were times where it looked like Asuka was just beating the shit out of Charlotte Flair. Kudos to Charlotte Flair for taking some fucking nasty fucking
hellacious.
Yeah, and getting like her arms were fucking bleeding. Like she looked like she got fucked up. Like she got worked over, and she let Asuka do her offense. I mean, there was no like it looked like Charlotte Flair like put her ass on the line. Like she wanted to give the best match that she could, and that match stole the show.
Yeah.
Like those two women, like I can see why they embraced at the end because that was probably. I mean, they took it to the next level. Like it's they've done a lot of amazing things, but I think this match really just showed you can. Like a women's match can be the best match of the night. Like,
I think it proved they could main event at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, like this match should have been a way higher up the card. Okay. So it was a great match. It was suplex off the apron, looked fucking horrendous. Like that's not even like a spot that like you would think looks, but it looked awful. And when Charlotte Flair's like rolling around the ground screaming she can't breathe, like I don't know what that was about, but it definitely looked legitimate. That was good, and the psychology of her matches are I don't know what road agent or booker or whatever.
It's Arn Anderson. It's Arn Anderson.
It's got to be because he's a genius. I mean, always every match, the opponent will always work over a limb or some sort of injury against her, and she has to overcome that, and it makes her look good. And that figure 6 thing where she like bridged with one arm was fucking. I don't think people appreciate how hard that fucking would be.
It was one of the few matches I've seen in a long time that it looked like these women were in a fight, and these guys are these women are fighting for their lives. In terms of the best women's match of all time in North America, it's this and it's Bayley and Sasha from TakeOver. The can's fucking down.
Yeah, definitely, and it's just there wasn't. They just put on a good match. Like there's no way around it. There wasn't any gimmick bullshit. Like it wasn't. Like I don't even think the announcers sold it the way that they should have. Like they should have said that it was a bad. Like they just didn't sell it as much as everybody, but they didn't need to. Like it just literally spoke for itself. I mean, when Charlotte Flair gets up and she like her arms are fucking bleeding and she looked like she's seen some shit. It was, and there was like back and forth, good like wrestling, like counters and reversals and submissions and all this stuff. So it was just good, just the best match of the night, like hands down. So
agreed. Next up, we have Jinder Mahal, who defeated Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, and Rusev. And this was a fatal 4-way match for the WWE United States Championship. They went 8-15. Now, the thing that kind of stuck out to me the most is that Jinder Mahal is looking small. He's looking a little small there. I don't know why. Maybe they were about to test him or something. I don't know. But he's looking a little
leaner, I would say.
Yeah, I agreed. He didn't look as beefy. And he wasn't lactating, which is a bonus.
Yeah, that helps.
I'm tired of Randy Orton. He's staler than fucking 3-year-old white bread. Again, I have an affection for Bobby Roode, and Rusev is fantastic. This match was all right. I don't like multi-man matches like this anyway. And we ended up with a couple tonight. Okay, Jinder wins the belt. Curious to see where they move on from here. I don't know what Rusev's, I heard he asked for his release. We don't know. But I'm looking forward to see, maybe to do some more Jinder Randy Orton matches.
No, you don't have to say that. Take that back.
What are your thoughts?
Rusev is over. Rusev was the most over person in that match.
Yeah.
Like, he came out first, and you thought he was like the fucking champion. Like they just saw what's the guy's name that does his announcing?
Aiden English.
Aiden English just showed up, and the crowd lost their collective shit. Like Rusev is over. His gimmick is stupid, and he's so over. Like people love Rusev Day. Like that shit is like, what are they doing with him? Like what is the purpose behind not giving him the title in this match? There isn't. It's dumb as shit. Like Rusev is not a heel. He's a face. Even if you don't want him to be a face, he's so fucking over. It's ridiculous. And why they had Jinder Mahal like pin him, I don't know. But when Randy Orton's telling you should ask for your release,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's stupid. They're wasting Rusev. Rusev is fucking amazing. Like he's a fucking massive fucking dude, and he does shit.
He's amazing, and he's coming to his own in terms of a character and his ability to talk, and like he's hitting on all cylinders. I don't see, why don't they put him in a better position? at this point.
Did you see his tweet about his match with the Undertaker?
Did you hear that they changed it to Chris Jericho?
Oh no, but
Yeah, like he's not even in that match anymore.
oh, Rusev?
Yeah, they replaced him with Chris Jericho.
Oh, well, his tweet said, "Bury me softly, dead man." That was his.
So I don't know if they took him out of that match because they're about to release him or not. So we'll see.
Hopefully for him, he gets released because he could go anywhere and
See you in New Japan, buddy.
Yeah, no shit. I'll make all my money there. He lives in Nashville. Or maybe I'll try to stalk him next when I get home.
Yeah.
Just follow him around.
Let's go on this.
It wouldn't be.
Pretty sure I saw a video of him mowing the lawn and like in trunks, in the Speedo, which is awesome. Because I feel that's the way that Bruno Sammartino did his lawn. In his wrestling trunks. I feel like that's a thing.
I don't know.
And if it's not a thing, it should be. All right, next up, we have Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey, who defeated Triple H and Stephanie McMahon by submission. Now, this was a mixed tag team match, and it went 20-40. This match blew me fucking away. I was all prepared to fucking rip this match to fucking shreds. You know, I totally thought that was, it's going to be all Stephanie. You know, Stephanie might get a tap out on Ronda Rousey. They're going to make Kurt Angle look like a goof because they make him look like a goof on TV, and he was going to be irrelevant in this match. So I completely expected Triple H and Stephanie to go over while making Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey look bad. That was not the case here. This match was fantastic. And maybe the best mixed tag team match I've ever seen in my entire life. Stephanie's work in this match was amazing. She did such a great job. It's like I'm dumbfounded. I don't even know what to say. Like I want to be mad and I want to be angry and I can't. Nice job to everyone involved. I don't know who put together this match. It's most likely Triple H, but it was fantastic. I don't know when Triple H became a biker because that's like 2 years in a row he came out on a motorcycle.
Well, it's Motorhead. It said Motorhead on its thing.
I understand.
So
I don't know when he joined the Disciples of Apocalypse.
So I for all the bitching and moaning about like, oh, we need to see Stephanie get her comeuppance and blah 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 blah. It's like they saved it up until this point, like because she got. So for all the shit people give Stephanie, she is actually pretty good when she's in. And God bless Triple H, because he evidently is willing to put anybody over at this point.
Yeah, he looked good too. He looked fucking good. He looked in good shape.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like he like let Ronda Rousey beat him up. Shit, like he just for all those shit that people give him about earlier in his career being whatever. Now he doesn't give a shit. Like he'll do whatever. Like to make anybody like if he wants to get somebody over, he's gonna fucking get them over. Probably the best match that Angle's worked in the WWE since he's been back. Yeah. He looks sexy, he looks strong, and then Ronda Rousey did a really good job.
She looked good, man.
Yeah, the whole thing. Stephanie was like super afraid of her. They really sold the danger for armbar, and she even got it on Triple H. So it was good. I thought it was a really good match, and it was nice watching Stephanie get beat up.
The only thing I can say is that she needs to stop messing around with her gear because she kept on fixing herself. And if you're in a fight, you're not going to fix yourself. There he is.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It was a good match. It was a fun match. It was nice to see Stephanie get her comeuppance. I liked how they sold the armbar. Like she was like legitimately like tripping balls. And it wasn't like when she was trying to avoid the armbar, she was like doing it the right way. So that was cool.
That's the one thing she learned is how to counter that.
I thought it was good, and other than Stephanie cheating, she really didn't have a lot of offense on her either. So that looked good too, because it'd been weird if like Stephanie's like throwing hands on Rousey.
Right. I mean, they did a good job when they put this match together. They did a fantastic job. They protected Ronda Rousey. They protected Kurt. They made Stephanie look good, and Triple H was bumping like a boss. So good job for everyone across the board. Next up, we have the Bludgeon Brothers, who defeated the Usos and the New Day. Now, this was a triple threat match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. This went 5 minutes, essentially a squash.
Yeah, the only purpose of this match was just to get the titles off the Usos for whatever reason. Because the New Day and the Usos all year putting on great matches. And the Usos have looked amazing, and there's a reason that neither of them got pinned. It was just basically like a way for them to get the titles on somebody that wasn't the New Day or the Usos. Like, that's it. There was no other purpose behind this match because the Bludgeon Brothers or whatever. I mean, I guess they made them look tough, but we've seen these guys. They're not new, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was stupid, whatever. They just got the title. It was just to move the titles. That's it. It's the only reason it happened. I don't know why it was high up on the card as it was, but whatever. It was just time for people to take a piss, I guess.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, they're coming down from that amazing mixed tag match, but, you know, they're going to move apart due to the Superstars shakeup. That's coming shortly. So, yeah, meh. Next up, we had The Undertaker, who defeated John Cena in 2 minutes 45 seconds in essentially a squash. They were doing this whole thing all night where, in the beginning of the night, where John Cena was out in the crowd. And then I guess the referee told him that The Undertaker was there, so he ran to the back. And then he comes out, and Undertaker does not show up. It's Elias. They get into a back and forth. John Cena beats the shit out of Elias, and then The Undertaker comes out and essentially destroys John Cena. I don't even know what the purpose of this match was.
The best thing about this match was Elias, and that was it.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Cena. I don't know if we want to see more of The Undertaker. If there's Undertaker's last match where he beats, John Cena, that's fine too. If that's him going out on a high note, I guess. But I'd rather see him, go out in an amazing match. But
I just don't think they should have brought him back. I think they need to move on. Like, I love The Undertaker. The Undertaker's the shit. Yeah. But he doesn't need to be Ric Flair. So, let's let him retire. And if you're going to bring him back, what was there was no purposes. I don't care to see John Cena get squashed by The Undertaker. And I don't, why? What was I don't know what the point of this match was. It didn't do anything unless they're going to turn John Cena heel?
Nope.
Okay, so then there's no reason for this match.
It's sad because John could have a good 15-minute match with somebody.
Yeah, that could have been a great match. Right. But the only way that this makes any sense is if it just, John Cena's going to turn heel. Right. Because he's, frustrated or whatever.
Oh, they're going to bring back Undertaker full time.
No, they're not. I wouldn't. Why? Why would you bring him back? There's no reason. He's already done. He's just one of those guys that he's already done everything that needs to be done. There's nothing more that I want to see from him. Right. I don't, not because he's not a great worker, but just because it's just gonna. He's out. He went out on a high note and just let it be. You don't need to come back and do dumb shit. It's just you're only at this point gonna hurt yourself and hurt your legacy if you come back because you already have a mystique. Just leave it there. And I don't know what the purpose of that. So I hope maybe they'll turn John Cena heel, but that shit's not gonna happen. So I don't know what the fuck. It was a waste of fucking time, energy, and effort. It was a huge build up, and it was just awful. There was no. It was like Vince Russo was in the back or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was some bullshit. Moving on, we have Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon who defeated Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn by submission. This was a tag team match. If Owens and Zayn won, they'd be rehired to SmackDown, and this match went 15-25. I thought this match was okay. I mean, super happy to see Daniel Bryan back. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn look good. I don't want to see any more of Shane McMahon in a wrestling ring anymore. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was perfectly acceptable wrestling. I don't know why they did that spot in the beginning where they kind of oh, Bryan is hurt again. I don't think anyone fucking bought that shit, and I don't think it added any drama to the match. But other than that, it was okay.
Best part of this match was that they sold Shane McMahon's hernia, and that was it. And it was cool to see Daniel Bryan do Daniel Bryan things.
Yeah.
But he was just kind of there and didn't really do anything. I don't know. He needs to get back on the mic and kind of redevelop his character again and that thing. But it was nice to see him come out and kind of do a match and do what he does. And it was good to put him against Sami Zayn and
Sami Zayn's heel work is fucking super underrated. I like him as a heel because he's so fucking obnoxious.
Him and Daniel Bryan, yeah. It'll be good. I'm glad Daniel Bryan's back. But that was pretty much the extent of it. It's yay, Daniel Bryan. Yeah. And that's it.
Agreed.
Need to see him back. And the thing that I liked was that they were on the outside. Kevin Owens on the outside. Got that look in his eye. He went and bounced off the rope. And I'm like, please don't jump through the rope. And he just baseball slid. And I was like, There was a point where he laid on the mat for a little bit longer than I thought I wanted to, and I was like, "Oh my god, did he just get a concussion?" But he popped right back up. So yay! But yeah,
I hope they don't do those spots a lot because that's gonna get old and boring fast. We're oh, is he fucking hurt?
Yeah, let's not do that. It was kind of scary to see him work but it's just because it was his first match back, so it was just kind of don't hurt Daniel Bryan, please. But hopefully he'll get back in. He had some ring rust a little bit. But, I mean, there wasn't really a lot to highlight him in this match. Right. And maybe they're trying to work him in slowly, which is what they should do. And then once he gets back in the groove of things, I think he'll continue to put on great matches. And he has more people to work with now. So
yeah. Next up, we have Nia Jax, who defeated Alexa Bliss for the WWE Raw's Women's Championship. This match went 10 minutes, 15 seconds. What the fuck was Nia Jax wearing?
I don't know. Who cares?
She looked like a glamour girl. She looked like the Yanni Kai circa 1987. It was fucking weird to me. I just kept on thinking fucking Glamour Girls. It was fucking weird. But the match is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know. It's kind of hard, like, to take Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax and not see Alexa Bliss as, like,
The plucky underdog.
yeah. But they tried to push the, like, weird fucking, like, bullying thing on there. And it was good because Alexa Bliss plays a really, really good, like, awful, mean heel. But it's hard to see. But that fucking, like, Samoan drop off the fucking...
For real.
That shit fucking looked awful. And they did good. I mean, they did a good job, and the psychology was good. Like, she was trying to take out her legs and was trying to be quick, so that was cool. But it was basically like if I wrestled with my child. Like, it was just not fair.
How do you feel about? We've seen this with a couple of title switches. The women crying at the end of the match.
I don't know. It wasn't bad. Like, I can understand why Nia Jax would be emotional. Yeah. Because she, like, just won her first title, and like they were really good. Well, they're really good friends in real life.
Yeah.
Kayfabe, they were, like, really good friends, and then she, like, betrayed her and shit. So that makes sense to you. And I don't really think it's bad because, like, women cry sometimes when they get emotional. So for them not to cry and just, like, force that on them is kind of stupid because that's not how normal women react to things. So it doesn't mean they have to cry every single time, but sometimes women just cry when they, like, get emotional.
I mean, Ric Flair cries all the time too.
Well, that's why Charlotte Flair cries all the time. No, I'm just saying, like, it's not, like, over the top, and it's okay. Like, that's just how men and women are different. So it's fine if they want to do that. Now, sometimes it gets stupid, like when they force themselves to cry. That looks dumb. But it's okay, like, it makes sense. Especially, like, WrestleMania, you know, especially, like, Nia Jax, like, her first thing, like, whatever. And then, like, Charlotte Flair and stuff. Like, that's cool. Like, she was probably in fucking pain. I'd probably be crying, too. But, no, I mean, it's not bad as long as it's not done, like, over the top and it's just dumb. Like, because, I mean, even Asuka was, like, getting, like, choked up and shit. And, like, that was just because, you know, that's just how, you know, it's not a sexist thing. It's just, it would be sexist to not convey their emotion. Like, as long as they're not forcing it, fuck it, I don't care. Like, it's not bad. Like, men and women react differently to things, and that's okay. You know, they're women, and I think it would be disingenuous to, like, always have them. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't hurt their character any. I don't think it makes them look weaker. Obviously, you know, like, I don't think it makes them look bad. Like, it's not. It's weird because it's not something you usually see in wrestling. But I think that mostly had to do with, like, being, like, a male-dominated sport, and they were trying to, like, put the women over as tough, but we know they're tough. They can be tough and be women, and it's okay. Like, now, because they've already proven that they can do the things that men can do in the ring. So I don't really have an issue with it. Like, my wife cries more than I do, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean my wife is weak or some shit. She just reacts differently to things. Some people cry at weddings. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, emotion is emotion. It's as long as it's genuine and it's not, like, weird or forced or something, I don't have an issue with it.
Fantastic. Next up, we have AJ Styles, who defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. This was a singles match for the WWE Championship. This went 20 minutes, 20 seconds.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but it was a dream match.
That we've seen a couple times already?
Yeah, have you heard about that? That was a dream match. Did you know that?
Whose dream? Whose dream?
This match
go to New Japan World, you can see it.
No, literally, this match only suffered because the last time they had a match, it was so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that was the match that probably propelled them to where they're at right now. Yeah. Like, one of the reasons that they're where they are now is because of the last time they wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom. So it basically just suffered because of that, and because the work rate in the other match so much higher. But I think that this match,
it probably told a better story.
Yeah, and it was more about turning Nakamura than it was about having a fucking spot fest, like 5-star wrestling match. Right. Though the counter into the Styles Clash was fucking awesome.
Amazing. Can we say that AJ Styles is the best in the world? I'm saying that.
Yeah.
He's number one.
Yeah, he's pretty much the shit. But yeah, and then the heel turn, fucking amazing. Like, it was so good. It was so good. Did not see it coming.
Nope, not at all.
Like, why is he on his knees? And then boom, Chris Jericho. So it was cool. And then he kicked the shit out of him when he was on. Like, just kicked the ever living shit out of AJ Styles. It was good. I liked it. I mean, The match itself wasn't like what they but okay. Don't ever call things dream matches. Just stop. I don't know why the WWE has this infatuation with telling you how important matches are. Like, just let the matches stand for themselves because you're creating unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
So just don't do that.
Especially if you know you're going to do some kabuki shit in there.
Yeah, just don't say it. Like, if people want to say that it's a dream match, fine, let them say that. But you don't need to tell. Like, you're trying to force a narrative on something before it even happens.
Yeah, it's a marketing tool now. It's like,
yeah, like, just don't. Please don't do that, because it gives it. What they were doing this match was great. Was overshadowed because you kept referencing how big of a deal it was.
I would say that John Cena Undertaker is probably a bigger dream match because they haven't wrestled since what, 2004, 5.
Yeah, and they've never had like a real barn burner type WrestleMania match.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know, but it was a good match. I would say it was probably the second, third best match of the night, but the turn was A+. So good on them.
All right, next up we have Braun Strowman and Nicholas, who defeated Cesaro and Sheamus for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship. This match put 4 minutes.
If you ever forgot that wrestling was carny as fuck, just watch this match. Braun Strowman found a child and won the tag team titles with said child. There's nothing else that needs to be said about this match. But at WrestleMania, it just felt really jarring and weird. And it just...
I'm going to say, if I was 10 years old and I got picked to be Braun Strowman's partner, I'd have been fucking super stoked. And if I was a kid, seeing that, I'm like, oh, that's really fucking cool. But again, in the overall landscapes of professional wrestling, it's not, I don't find it that offensive on its own, but once you insert it into the landscape of professional wrestling, is probably not the best thing in the world to do. Especially when he's walking past, like, No Way Jose, because you see him in the crowd. And I heard the New Japan guys were jumping up and down, say, pick me, pick me, pick me, and he fucking skipped those guys. So it's like, but, yeah, moving on. And lastly, in the main event, we had Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman, who defeated Roman Reigns. And this was a singles match for the WWE Universal Championship. This match went 15:55. I think this should have been Roman's moment for all the shit he gets, but I think Roman Reigns should have won here, and he didn't. And the match was subpar in general, but he should have got the win here. And I'm not necessarily understanding why Brock won here. Apparently, he re-signed right before he went out for his match, so maybe one of the reasons why he retained here. But yeah, I mean, I understand that Roman gets a mixed reaction. I understand that, which is not his fault. Not his fault at all. Who's just wrong place, wrong time. Surprised they haven't pivoted away from him because of the negative fan reaction he does get. To me, it looked like they're trying to get sympathy on Roman here. I don't know if it necessarily worked the way they needed it to. When people are chanting, "This is awful," at your match, can't be good. And I don't know. I'm thinking Roman's going to win the belt at that Saudi Arabia show that they're going to do. But we'll see down the road. What are your thoughts?
Why the fuck are you don't like what reason now do people have not to like Roman Reigns? Like, other than the fact that he's always in like the main event, it doesn't matter. Even if like he should be in the main event picture. He's a good performer. Like, there's no reason him not to be at this point. Okay. And yeah, that was the whole lead up to him, but Seth Rollins was the champ. He didn't win. And that was a good match. Yeah. But they've had so many matches at this point. All Brock Lesnar matches are like the same, and we've seen them so many times. Like, that has worn off. And the fact that they just did like 50 F5s, the match got basically ground to a halt. Like, just ground to a halt because they just kept doing F5 pin, F5 pin, F5. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's stupid. And then the fact that, so he finally takes off his gloves, he bloodies him, he's bleeding like he got fucking shot in the head, like he has like a fucking open wound on his face, literally, like fucking complete blood mask on his face. And then he loses? Like, what the fuck was the point of that? Like, that he should have won. Should have been Roman Reigns holding the title, blood-covered face, champion. It doesn't matter if everybody's fucking booing, because fuck those people. Like, at that point, if you don't appreciate the fact I mean, really, Roman Reigns has been fucked more than anybody in the WWE at this point. Like, he just gets fucked consistently. And always at WrestleMania. Like, always fucked WrestleMania. He's been fucked like a million. Like, he beat Triple H at one WrestleMania. And that's it. But every other time, anytime he's fought Brock Lesnar, he's gotten screwed over. And it's just shitty. What the fuck? And then they do these build-up. Like, I get maybe people wanted to see Braun Strowman win the title at that point. Like, and then the way they had him lose. Like, what was the point of him having him lose that way? Like, have somebody come in, like, attack Brock Lesnar and fucking whatever, and then the match ends and nobody wins or loses. Because at this point, it just looks like there was no... Like, I literally shut off the fucking WrestleMania. I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, what? Why? What was the fucking purpose of this? And it's just shitty way to end the night, and it was just a shitty... same, like a match you'd seen over and over again, so it wasn't exciting. And the face didn't win, even though he basically went through hell at that point. Like, why do you have him kick out of 5 out of 5 if he's just going to lose anyway? So the psychology was stupid. And it doesn't make any... I don't know who's making these decisions or whatever, or what reason they're being made, but they're not... It's just not doing anybody any benefit. And at this point, I don't know why people are mad at Roman Reigns. Because if you think that other people are getting fucked because of him, I mean, at this point, he's gotten fucked. Like, fucking AJ Styles is the fucking SmackDown champion. So, like, what? Like, who do you want in his spot? Who do you want to be the Universal Champion? Like, who do you want to be in that spot? I don't know. There's a lot of people that could be in that spot, but I don't think that Roman Reigns is bad to have in that spot. But it's literally, they've played this game for so long that it's just they're ruining Roman Reigns. Ruining Roman Reigns.
Right. I don't think they know how to book him. I don't think they know how to. I just don't know. They're sort of kind of reacting from the fans' reaction, which is never a good thing to do. But I think they're just like, we don't know what to do with this guy. We'll just have Rock beat him.
Well, it's just like the thing too is they ruin him because the booking makes no sense.
Right.
It's like they build him up, and then at the last moment he always loses. So what are we learning from this? That Raw, like,
you can't win the big one. You can't win the big one.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Like, yeah. So what's the point? What's the point of the whole year's worth of booking to only have him come out and lose on the biggest stage after he basically literally gives his own blood? Like, he just loses what? How fucking defeating would that be? So I just don't.
It's like they have this weird thing where it's like the best way we can get someone over is having them lose all the time, so people feel bad for them. I don't want to feel bad for my favorite wrestler. I want to feel good for my favorite wrestler. It's like, oh, it'd be the equivalent of taking Hulk Hogan and say, oh, we're gonna have him lose the Iron Sheik 15 times before he wins the belt. It's the stupidest thing.
And the thing too, we'll have him beat everybody else but the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is the point of that? And again, I get it. Maybe you want to see Braun Strowman in that spot. But maybe Braun Strowman maybe he's not ready for that spot. So why don't you let Braun Strowman continue to grow? Like, I can understand maybe not wanting to put him in that position. That's fine. I don't want Brock Lesnar to be the champion anymore. I just don't want him to be the champion. And I would like to see him do something else with somebody else. I would like to see him fight Bobby Lashley. That'd be cool as shit. But not as a title match. I just don't. And I don't even think it's like people are like, oh, Brock's politics. I don't think Brock gives a shit about if he's a champion. I just don't understand what the fuck, what they're thinking or what the thought process is. And obviously I have no idea. So maybe it is a big deal for him to be the champion. I don't know. But I just can't see the purpose of ruining a good wrestler like Roman Reigns for no reason. And the booking makes no sense because there's no climax. Like, even Daniel Bryan's journey had a climax.
Right.
It'd basically be like if you had a movie where the hero struggled and struggled and struggled and then just got shot in the face at the end. And that was the end of the movie. That would be to be shitty. And then they made a sequel where he also gets shot in the face at the end. There's never it's not like a struggle or whatever. So I don't know what the fuck they think they're doing. I guess maybe it's the crowd reaction, but fuck them. And they should just put the title on Roman, and if people don't like him, you should just tell him to go fuck himself. Right. That's what Steve Austin did. Steve Austin didn't give a shit about the fans. The fans just like Steve Austin. That was it. If you notice, Steve Austin isn't like, oh, I love the crowd. He doesn't give a fuck. about anyone or anything. People just liked him. Like he didn't try to be a face. The people he just got over. So that's the thing is like what do they want from Roman Reigns? Like just who gives a shit if people don't like him? You made fucking Jinder Mahal the fucking champion, but you can't make Roman like. It's just I don't understand this like the mind behind that. Like you're gonna put a strap on Jinder Mahal, but not on Roman Reigns.
Yeah, man, it's weird. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's a fucking it's shit. It's travesty. It's stupid. It's a waste of everyone's time. Roman should ask for his.
Agreed. So, what are your thoughts on WrestleMania overall?
It wasn't the worst WrestleMania. It wasn't the best WrestleMania. There were good matches.
Middle of the road?
Yeah, because there were some really good matches in it, but there also was some, I don't know. I think it's just a lot of times WrestleMania is kind of judged by the way that it ends, and the ending sucked. And it just wasn't, I don't know. It just wasn't, a lot of the things that you thought would be a big deal weren't. So like the John Cena Undertaker thing was super underwhelming, and then the main event was super underwhelming. And the Nakamura AJ Styles match kind of suffered because of YouTube, because you can watch their Wrestle Kingdom match on there. And so, but again, that wasn't a bad match. It's just I don't know. It's just the way that WWE sometimes books things and some of the decisions they make.
It's goofy.
And it just doesn't seem like it's like appropriate for the event. You know, you can get away with different things at different times. If you want to make, because they always present WrestleMania as like a prestigious thing, right?
End all be all.
Right, the Super Bowl of wrestling. But it's just like if you have like a Super Bowl where one team gets blown out, like it sucks. You know? It's like the Seahawks versus the fucking Broncos. So like it's like just a shitty game and no one wants to watch it and it's fucking awful. Not because it was just that's the way that it was. Like it wasn't a bad game in a sense. It wasn't bad WrestleMania, but it really wasn't anything to remember. Like if I had paid $60 for it, I would cry. So, but yeah, I mean, there were no bra and panty matches. There wasn't like 70 fucking gimmick matches or anything, but it wasn't a lot of. They really built it up, and they set unrealistic expectations. I mean, I think WWE has a huge problem with that. They set really unrealistic expectations for things, and then you have such a convoluted opinion of what the match should be or what should happen that when it doesn't happen, it just doesn't feel like you don't feel fulfilled. And I think the main event sets the tone a lot for like that's the feeling that you leave with. So if you have a really shitty main event or the second half there isn't a match that really captures your attention, it's kind of like, well. Plus they've done a really good job. Like, I mean, Seth Rollins' WrestleMania was fucking awesome. You know, they didn't really throw anything in there to make it like exciting. There wasn't anything, that super unexpected. I mean, other than the Nakamura turn or whatever, but they didn't really have anything else. There wasn't, the Hardys, there wasn't like no one came out or anything. No one did anything completely unexpected. It was kind of like, whatever. So I don't know. I was kind of disappointed, really, in the whole. And I really like, as much as it's not like a fucking, I'm not super passionate about fucking Roman Reigns, but he really should have won. Everybody expected him to win because that's what made the most sense.
Yeah. It's like Hogan not beating Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7.
Yeah. Like it was in like a swerve, I guess, and it was like smart. But at the same time, it wasn't, because it's just like it doesn't do anything for either of the. It hurts Roman Reigns and does nothing for Brock Lesnar, because if they had switched it up where like you thought Roman Reigns was gonna win, like legitimately, like he was kicking Brock Lesnar's ass, like the thing where they did the the triple threat, where like you thought Braun Strowman was gonna win, and then he like got an F5 and pinned Kane. That was good, right? Because it made Brock Lesnar look smart, right? But in this match, he just looked like Brock Lesnar the whole time. So the ending was never in doubt. So it wasn't really a swerve at the end, because I guess maybe prior to the match, I had maybe expected Roman to win. But when you have him dominate Roman the whole time, having him win is not a swerve at that point. It's just at that you just told me what was going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
If Roman had like just came out there and like been a ball of fire and just fucked him up, and then he managed to win by fucking putting him in a Kimura lock, that shit would have been cool. Like that would have been a nice swerve, right? But it wasn't, and it was dumb, and it just didn't. And the fact they just don't follow the rules, so that's a finer point. That's stupid. Like, it's not a no DQ match. Like, he's putting him through a table. They could have even done it that way. They could have gotten him they could have had not Roman Reigns, but Brock Lesnar get DQ'd. That would have even been a better ending. Because he ignored the referee and put Roman through a table or something. Because he just wanted to fuck him up. That would have made more sense too. Because I thought what they were trying to do with him from the Lesnar match was not make him so like dominant, but like make him a little bit more cagey and intelligent, not just run through people. And so obviously I know that Brock Lesnar is smart enough to know that if he wins by DQ or he loses by DQ, he doesn't lose the belt. So have him fucking put Roman through like fucking 3 tables or some shit, and then have him get DQ'd and not give a shit. That's fine. That would actually be more in line with his character arc. But they just evidently.
Nope.
So yeah, I don't understand the whole.
It doesn't make any sense, and that's the overall problem. Is like, people say, "Oh, it's just wrestling," and blah 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 blah. Like it has to be logical. Like we need a logical progression. This is not a logical progression. What should have happened is Roman should have won here. You move Brock on to special attraction matches with Bobby Lashley. You move Roman either on to Samoa Joe or The Miz. That's simple, right? It's not rocket science. So I don't get what they were trying to do. I don't get what they're doing now. And that's that.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad storytelling. Like,
yeah.
if you saw a game like Jon Snow, like a lot of people assumed who his parents were for a long time.
Yeah.
But the show didn't just like reverse course all of a sudden and make it so Jon Snow wasn't who everybody thought he was, because it wouldn't have made any sense with the story. But it seems like WWE just does that shit all the time, where it's just bad illogical storytelling. So I don't know why they do that, because it's not a surprise if you just do there's no reason for it. You're just letting people down. Like, I don't know why. I don't know. I read some article and they were just saying that WWE is just getting addicted to that shock value. And so they're doing things like almost Russo-esque, where they're just doing shocking things just to be shocking. Or like they're not giving you the result that you think is going to happen just because you think it's going to happen. If you read a story,
swerve, bro.
Yeah, if you read a story, just because you thought something was going to happen, you don't know that it's going to happen until it actually does.
Right.
It doesn't make it less because you saw it coming. It just means that you figured it out by putting the pieces together in the story. So you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand that. It's just shitty storytelling, and I think that's the biggest problem with this WrestleMania is there were a lot of matches where it just felt like it didn't really advance the story in any way. There wasn't a lot to go from there. Like, it was just, I know WrestleMania is supposed to like tie up ends, but I think too that for whatever reason they like to leave a lot of the stuff for ratings on Raw. Yeah. So they're
booking backwards. They're booking pay-per-views that have angles so they can have blow-offs on Raw. It's fucking weird and it's backwards. It's like WCW booking.
Yeah, like why did you wait? Why did you wait to have Lashley come out on Raw and not on WrestleMania? Like, right. Why? Like, that would have been. But then again, they did that with the Hardys, and everybody fucking lost their shit.
Yeah.
So why? Like, they already know that it works. So why, if it works, you don't need to fix. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So.
Agreed. All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time out to go over WrestleMania, and I'll catch you on the next big pay-per-view.
Yes, sir.
And we're back. In terms of WrestleMania, for me, it was a middle-of-the-road show. There were some parts that were great, and there were some parts that I wouldn't use the word offensive, but it was I'm curious about that. It's just like, what are they doing? So Matt, what are some of your takeaways from WrestleMania?
Okay, there are a few. One, it was too long. I just
Oh
went back.
God, it was awful.
Just, I think 4 hours is probably the max. Like, think of it like a super Raw. Okay.
Do you think they should go to 2 nights?
I'd rather see him to stay one night and be smart about it than 2 nights and whatever. Because then you'd have WrestleMania SmackDown, WrestleMania Raw. Just do one show. Do one show. Make the matches really smart. Whatever. I had my frustration with the show on a couple points. It started off hot. The triple threat IC match was really well done. I think I was convinced they were going to pull an angle with injury for Miz, but I guess from word is Miz is not taking time off after WrestleMania.
They're booking him like a babyface.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Is I thought if you wanted to do this right, give him like a month off or more, be with his wife and kid, and then he comes back at some point, and Roman Reigns is the champion, and he's talking about he's face down the toughest. Who's he going to face next? Who do we think can beat me? Awesome comes out, awesome, and you're like, oh shit. Miz walks out, and he's a babyface. He's got the fans behind him. He can run the clip of him beating him a couple times when he had the IC title,
right?
And you set that up. I don't know if they're going to flip the title in Saudi Arabia.
I think that's the thought that he's going to drop the belt there.
I think the main event. Here's my problem. One is some of the matches were a bit too long. Like the Asuka match was really great. That was a good match.
Yeah, best match of the show.
Yeah. Some of the moves they did were a little scary, but, take it easy, kids. The tag match, I laughed my ass off at Nicholas, and I loved the memes. And then I actually loved the next night that they snipped it in the bud. Bang.
Yeah.
Like, don't make it too long. Don't make it a work. Just, it was a funny spot. Kill it. Done. Because what's happened in the past, WWE has found out, the fans like something, and they kill it. They kill it. So good job on that. We'll see Nicholas in 10 years when he's burned out and comes in as a Raven.
See, I don't hate it as much as other people. I know a lot of people did not like it.
Right.
As a one night kind of spot, it's funny, it's cute. Don't necessarily know how it works with in terms of the overall package of WrestleMania or pro wrestling in general. But for this one time deal, I don't hate it.
Yeah, from what I've heard, people, everyone who has kids that watch wrestling thought it was phenomenal. They were excited. It's great. I would say my big beef. I thought the Battle Royal for the men was okay, whatever, Matt Hardy. I was talking with some of this the other day. I think they need to decide if they're going to use it as a promotion type thing or as a recognition type thing.
Right.
Either you're giving it to someone like Corbin or Mojo, and the idea is, I'm going to brag about winning this. But so far, Mojo, Cesaro, and Corbin that I can think of off the top of my head.
Did Big Show win it?
Big Show won it, yeah. But those two are more, whatever. So it's like, okay, and now we have Matt Hardy. I like it as a nod as opposed to a push because no one who's gotten the push has done much with it.
Right.
So just, get back to basics. The Women's Battle Royal, I was annoyed by it because I thought Bayley winning would have been a good, type thing.
Why say that?
Yeah, it was good. I think Rousey looked a lot better than she had previously. I will say I think the overall problem with the show this long is when you end it, like the Cena Undertaker thing was a squash. I think that was purely just to have him on the show, and it kind of was like, okay, he came out, he beat up Cena, he left, great. I do think the problem with the show this long is by the time you get to the main event, with a finish you're going to do there, and a performance that was lackluster at best. No, but lackluster at best, and they really just, Lesnar reminded me of a kid you're playing, somebody who just, knows 3 moves in WWE wrestling.
And spamming them.
Right. They're just going the same over and over and over again. And it's like, dude, do something else. I can do the kick and punch and the DDT. So. When
they're chanting, this is awful for your main event, you have fucking major fucking problem.
I read an article today by David Shoemaker talking about Roman Reigns being let down, that Vince is obsessed with pushing him over. I do think, and people say, he's already a heel. I do think turning him heel would be phenomenal for business. Because people would already hate him, but he could play off that hate way more than he does now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's just becoming the new Cena.
He hasn't won a whole lot, to be completely honest. And people don't like baby faces who don't win.
Right.
So that's always a particular issue. So I don't know. Vince is in this mode is like, we'll get him some sympathy by having him lose a whole bunch, and then eventually he'll get the win. But that's never ever fucking worked, ever. It's like Luger not winning it on at SummerSlam.
Perfect.
And then by the time you get to WrestleMania, they didn't give a shit no more.
Nah.
So it's like Hogan. Imagine if Hogan didn't win the belt from the Iron Sheik, for 6 months.
Right.
It'd been fucking ridiculous. So I think everyone's in agreement that Roman should have probably won here, especially when he was busted open.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, that was a.
Because you want that visual of Roman with the belt, blood all over the place, and he finally gets his just due at that point. So
do you think they're gonna put the belt on him in Saudi Arabia?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they're figuring the crowd's gonna be way more receptive.
I can see Vince saying he looks like he's from Saudi Arabia. We could pass it. We could pass him over as Saudi Arabia.
From Dubai, Roman Reigns.
That's why people think he's over in India, because he looks sort of Indian, I guess. I don't know. I don't think he looks Indian. He looks fucking Samoan. But whatever. People are weird. Rumor and innuendo would state that the Saudi Arabian government is paying them $5 million to do this show here. So maybe they wanted to switch. Like, oh, you put over Roman Reigns. All right, guys. So that is WrestleMania in a nutshell. Better luck next year. All right, so our wrestler spotlight, and first we will talk about Magnum TA. Do you think Magnum TA was proto Bill Goldberg?
Proto who?
Bill Goldberg. Because they booked him just like Bill Goldberg, because if you watch a lot of those early matches of Magnum TA, he's beating people in 30 seconds with the belly in the belly. Apparently he wasn't that great of a worker at first, so in an effort to protect him, they just put him over in 30 seconds. He was able to figure it out. I mean, he was never the world's greatest worker, but he did figure it out at some point. I mean, that I Quit match with him and Tully is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is. That's a great match.
I think when people often compare him to Bill Goldberg, but I think there's a couple of subtle differences there. Bill Goldberg didn't have the endorsement from somebody. Like Magnum TA had the endorsement from Dusty Rhodes. Bill Goldberg did not have an endorsement from anybody. There was no baby faces to endorse him at the time. Flair was out with a contract dispute for some of that. I think most of that run. You had Sting, who is being weird, is up in the rafters, and then he's NWO. You had DDP, but he wasn't a top guy at that point yet. Hogan and Savage are heels. Bret Hart is switching back between babyface and heel. So we have a company here with no babyfaces to endorse this guy.
Right.
And he was still able to get over, much to his credit, but a big difference. And Magnum TA would have been an all-time great. Magnum TA at a certain point was probably the number 2 babyface in all the United States, right under Hogan. Definitely was starting to eclipse Dusty Rhodes in that top babyface spot, and would have been NWA champion probably by middle to late '87. So I think that along with the 1,000 other things is why Crockett ended up falling apart, because he had no challenger for Flair. Like, you can't go back to Dusty. They had turned Barry. When did they turn Barry? 88? 87?
Yes.
88? That's 87. When Barry came back, he initially feuded with Flair, but that didn't last very long. And then you went with Sting in 88. And I think that kind of screwed up their booking because they had fully intended to have Magnum TA be on top. I mean, they had to switch fucking Nikita Koloff.
Yeah. Which was great. That was a great twist.
That was fantastic. I mean, Nikita Koloff ended the Cold War. So... yeah, the superpowers, and it was awesome. But I think that really hurt Crockett moving forward. And I think anytime you have those tragedies, we've seen it with the Von Erichs, we've seen it with Magnum, and we've seen it in the middle 2000s with the WWE. When you have a string of tragedies like that, it really hurts the overall presentation of the program. It hurts the fans. The fans don't want to be associated or even watch your product anymore. And I think it hurts overall business. So it's like it's not something that you can prevent. You can try your best to prevent those things, but you couldn't really prevent Magnum getting in a car wreck. You know what I mean? And ended up, essentially paralyzed from the waist down. In and out of the wheelchair. He's able to walk a little bit. He wasn't even supposed to live, and he's still around and kicking to this day. And I met him at an autograph signing, and he was awesome. He was there with his grandkid.
Did you punch him like Tully Blanchard?
No, because Dusty was right next to him, and now we got fucked up.
That's the U.S. heavyweight title, held by that man. One part of America's team, the other part with us also, Dusty Rhodes. This is Magnum TA.
Well, I couldn't help but listen to the words by the national heavyweight champion a little while ago talking about being the #1 contender of World's Heavyweight Championship. Well, Buddy Landell, really, who is Zooming Who? Because it's real plain to see. I'm the United States heavyweight champion. I am the #1 contender. And any time you have any idea in your mind you can take this away from me, jump. Don't stand back. Don't think about it too long, because there's a lot of people out there wanting a shot at this, and I'd be glad to mix it up with you at any time.
I don't believe that there is any explanation for this right here. I mean, you can go all over the world and not see nothing as bad as this right here. And the thing is, me and the Maggie May just got back from Anchorage. We was on the private JCP sports plane, flew out there, dedicated ourselves to a group of kids, and came back here. Nature Boy Ric Flair, Slick Rick, if you will. It's not over between me and you. You got a little bit to do yet before you finish your thing. The legend and the man. There's a big difference between the legend and the man, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ole and Iron Anderson. I'm going to tell you right now, live on television, Jack, that I'm going to hurt one of you real bad in the real near future. In the real near future. I don't know which one yet, but I'm going to do it to it real bad. So let's get down to real business talk, Ric Flair. Let's get down to dollars and cents. You dealing money. You wearing them seersucker suits. You walking around playing risky business with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I'm walking around a crippled man, wearing a boot with a steel toe in it, having to hobble around. I ain't forgetting nothing. I want you to remember one picture, baby. Back that camera just a little bit. I'm going to give him one picture to look at in all his money here, baby. Get a full shot of this. Ric Flair. $33,000, Jack.
America's team, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA.
That's one of my favorite, oh shit moments when Tully comes out screaming, and Tully's so mad he starts speaking wrong. He's dropping his lines and stop sticking your ring in. No, I think they say stop sticking your nose in the ring, but he says stop sticking your. For a long time, my group of friends do that running gag as a line, get really mad, I'm so mad I'm gonna stop sticking my ring in, and then he punches him, and of course Tully helps him slide to the floor. Then Barry comes out, and, gets him a slug. But Dusty comes out with a bat and just whoops ass. Oh, Dusty.
And Dusty is fucking John Wayne. Fuck.
Yeah.
As everyone can see, we have got a program for you.
We are starting out today on my right, the heavyweight champion of the world, Nature Boy Ric Flair, and David on your left, U.S. heavyweight champion Magnum TA. We welcome them both now to World Championship Wrestling, Nature Boy.
When you said that you were opening up with one of the greatest wrestling programs in the world, you weren't lying. And to have company as elite as the world heavyweight champion, the United States heavyweight champion, on the same set, in front of the same camera at one time, has got to be a real treat for every wrestling fan in the world today, even if the world champion is standing here looking his part, custom made from head to toe, and the U.S. champion is standing here in a leather vest, trying to convince himself and everybody else in professional wrestling that he's ready for a shot at the big gold.
Well, Ric Flair, never let it be said that clothes make the man or a man makes the clothes, whatever it may be. I've always been a man who likes Levi's and leather. I've never minced any words about that. But as far as my wrestling ability, I don't really think you can say that what the clothes I wear have anything to do with that. I am the #1 contender for your World's Heavyweight Championship, and that's a fact that you may soon have to deal with.
David Crockett, you've said this on numerous occasions. You've tried to infer to the wrestling public and to the public in general that Magnum TA is the brightest star in all of professional sports. It's professional wrestling mainly. And I'm standing here to tell you, and I asked to come out here while he was going to be here because I want these people out here to have an opportunity firsthand to know that I don't ride a motorcycle. I drive a Mercedes-Benz, a Corvette, a Rolls-Royce, whatever I feel like driving. I don't have to walk around the world telling everybody what I am or who I am because I am probably the most recognizable personality and athlete in the world today. And when I came through the Atlanta airport this morning, they were all hollering, Slick Rick, Magnum TA is next.
Words there from Nature Boy Ric Flair, Magnum.
You know, from the Nature Boy, the World Heavyweight Champion, I expect no less. Regardless of slick words and Slick Rick, whatever he has to say, I am the #1 contender. I have paid the cost to be United States Heavyweight Champion. And Ric Flair, a day soon will come when you and I will meet.
That probably hurt Crockett too because they ran Dusty on top for too long. By the time they got to 1988, Dusty probably should have been off TV. I think that's safe to say, right?
Yeah.
Like post Starrcade '87, that should have been his swan song. What did he do in Starrcade? Was it Barry in Starrcade? What did he fight in Starrcade '87?
87?
Yeah.
I was
Bubba Rogers?
Dusty?
Yeah.
Wasn't Flair versus Garvin?
Flair versus Garvin was on top. You had Skywalker's 2 with the Rock and Roll and Midnight.
They blew out Jim Cornette's knee again.
He was no way. There was no way he's getting on top of that scaffold again. Fucking Luger? Really?
Oh, yeah.
He won the U.S. belt from Lex Luger?
That's right.
1987? That was good booking?
That was he DDT'd him on the chair, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that was the finish.
That sounds right. Yeah, the Dr. Death Steve Williams and Barry Windham match on that show. So I would watch that again, but I don't know. That has Nikita Koloff versus Terry Taylor on there.
Yeah,
it was Chicago. Ron Garvin wins the belt, so loses the belt. I think overall, I mean, my thoughts on Magnum. I think it's unfortunate what happened to him. It's a real wrestling tragedy. I like to see where his career would have took him in terms of being a top guy in the late '80s, early '90s for the NWA for Crockett or even WCW. I thought that would have been fucking fantastic. We'd have been able to move away from the Flairs and the Dusties, and maybe we can focus on like a Magnum and a Luger and Sting. So
right.
I think they had to pivot, and I don't think they really had any good options for baby faces. So that's why they had to go to Nikita. But Magnum was awesome. Magnum was awesome in the fucking Mid-South too when he was tagging with Mr. Wrestling too. That's a hell of a fucking angle too when Mr. Wrestling turned on him.
Mr. Wrestling, why?
I remember watching. I don't know what episode this is on, but he was doing knee lifts. Like I guess he was teaching Magnum how to do knee lifts. And
yeah,
like they're doing and it was like bags of sand. It's fucking ridiculous. Fucking awesome. But yeah, Mr. Wrestling ended up turning on him, and they had a little feud, and then off the Crockett he went. I guess it would have been '85 he went. I would assume. Then '84, I believe he was in Mid-South. Should have been NWA World Champion. That's for damn sure. Again, it's one of those things when you start putting all your eggs in one basket like that, and something happens, and
yep.
Crockett and WCW did that a lot. See Sting 1990.
Right.
And if shit doesn't work out, like you're fucked. And they don't know how to pivot right, so they've never been able to pivot. # Black Scorpion.
Sting.
We'll talk about the Black Scorpion at some point, but I want to say, in all honesty, no matter how embarrassing it was, I totally bought in the Black Scorpion, and I totally thought it was the Ultimate Warrior. That's what the PWI told me, because they were tag team partners.
I will tell you, if you look back, okay, what would it have taken? Like, just tell them, like, okay, jump ship, we'll give you $5 million. $5 million. That if you jumped over for $5 million, even if it's a breach of whatever, payoff, whatever, what's done is done. Oh well.
Why book an angle if you don't have a finish? What the fuck's Oldie thinking? And it's funny because Oldie blames Dusty, but Dusty wasn't there. Dusty was in WWF.
He was just a common man. He's working hard with his hands.
I still think any Dusty Road close 1988, he should not be in the ring. Even his matches with Savage weren't good. You know? And how the fuck do you have a bad match with Randy Savage? I don't even understand how that's even possible.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Yeah. Up next, maybe a wrestler that a lot of you don't remember, or some of you never heard of, but Al Madril. Now, I've seen Al Madril out of Portland, and he did this thing called Fiesta Gardens, which is like a brother love show or funeral parlor type show or Piper's Pit, and I was shocked to hear how good of a fucking talker he was.
Scotty the Body, my hero, the one and only, the New Jersey Stud. You're just everybody to me, Scotty the Body. And I'll tell you what, brother, you got a big match coming up tomorrow in Albany.
Yeah, me and the Grappler, we got a little tag match with them Southern Rockers, them bleached blonde bimbo geeks. I don't want to talk about that because that's at the Boys and Girls Club in Albany, and I hate Albany. But you know what? We got that radio show tonight, Al.
That's right, brother. Tell us all about it.
620 KGW, whatever it is, 620 a.m. from midnight till 2 in the morning. Me and Al will be there answering all your wrestling questions.
That's right, so put your husbands to bed, girls, and call the Latin Lover and Scotty the Buddy. And then on Monday, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be in McMinnville, and I have to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. You got it.
He was fucking amazing. Like, good fucking heel. And it's like, we don't see heels like that anymore. And that's sad to me. Like, just getting heat. You know, Al Madril started his career in 1970. Spent a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest, obviously. And spent a lot of time in Texas. I think they were feuding with, doing stuff with the Von Erichs and, and getting beaten up by Kevin Von Erich. So, super, super, super underrated.
I don't have to tell you what time it is because you people know what time it is if you have a watch. First of all, I want a moment of silence because I want to cry right now for Jesse Barr and Sandy Barr. So everybody keep quiet. Okay, now I feel better. Okay, first of all, Tuesday in Longview, Washington at the fairgrounds. We'll be there at 7 p.m. All the greatest stars in the world will be in Longview, Washington. So you be there. Wednesday, the 18th, we go to Gresham. That's at the Armory. That is 2 for 1. And you can donate the food if you bring cans of food to the Oregon Food Bank. Thursday, the 19th in Salem. Big show in the capital city. That starts at 7 p.m. And also, that's 2 for 1. Saturday, of course, we're right back here. And then Wednesday, speaking of Christmas, the 25th, Don Owens, you beat up old broke promoter. You're going to be in Burnside at that place over there where all the poor people live, because on Christmas, I'm sure you like it, but all those brats are in here free. Well, I don't care about Santa Claus. I don't care about Rudolph the Red-Nosed. Speaking of Rudolph, I don't care about any of that because I don't believe in that. Because one time when I was a little bitty kid, I went and I sat on Santa Claus. I sat on his lap, right? I wanted some candy. And accidentally, I don't know how it happened, his beard came off. His little mustache came off. And his little red suit came on. And you know what? He had on a bra. I don't believe it. So from ever since then, I don't believe in Santa Claus. And now, what happened to you? Speaking of surprises.
Hey, is this Santa Claus story somehow related to how your hair came off?
Just don't worry about it. Thinking about hair, what happened to you? Little surprise out there in the ring.
Just don't worry about it. The reason I'm up here in your stinking Fiesta Garden for one reason and one reason only. Otherwise, I wouldn't be up here around such stinking presence as yours, Madril. Yeah, you'll get what's coming to you, punk. Yeah, we'll see you. Buddy Rose, let me make this really short and really sweet. You want my attention? You got it. These belts will never go around your waist, mostly because they won't fit. But next Saturday night, you want me? You got me. The Crush. I'll be after you. We'll see, tough guy.
Orange Crush. I hate Orange Crush. But I just want to tell you people, right before I leave here right now, and especially you little kids out there, don't believe in Santa Claus, okay? Don't believe it, because it's not real. So, as I go off my show now, we'll see you all.
He retired in 1993, but I really liked Al Madril. And it's something that he doesn't often get talked about. I don't really hear a lot of stories about Al. Apparently, he was good friends with Shawn Michaels. He was one of his riding partners or traveling partners. Because originally he was he won the NWA Texas Tag Team Championship with Jose Lothario. So, kind of helping with the evolution and the maturation of Shawn Michaels. Yeah. Also, Shawn Michaels credit Madril for helping him develop an appreciation for Elvis music. He's of Hispanic descent, right? So, but he was the first one to me that had like a Chicano accent. Not as prevalent as like Eddie Guerrero's fake Chicano accent that he had, but he totally had like we've heard like Mexican wrestlers that have like Mexican accents, even Texas accents, like Tito Santana or what have you. But he was the first one because he's from California. He totally had a Chicano accent, like totally. And, like he kind of sounded like fucking Cheech.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like, "What's happening?" That kind of stuff, man. And that shit cracked me up, man. And that Fiesta Gardens, if you go out of your way and check out some Portland wrestling, check out Fiesta Gardens. That stuff is fucking fantastic. So check out Al Madril.
That's right, people. What can I say when it's all been said? Fridays and Saturdays in Eugene on Fridays. Saturday right here. We're going to be here every week, regardless of what goes on, regardless if there's no TV or whatever. I thank you, Channel 12. You did a great job all these years. But now, Sandy Barr, Mr. Cameraman, don't go away yet. Look at this. This is what's going to happen tomorrow in Uncle Mill. Sure, I'll put my mask on. I ain't worried about that. But tomorrow, if you say that I've got a bald head, well, Sandy Barr, after tomorrow, they're going to be calling you Baldy. And not only does the hair match against the mask in Uncle Milk, but also Beetlejuice is going to be there. Oh, wow. Him and his brother Jesse are going to wrestle the Bruise Brothers. Also, for the first time in Uncle Milk, the Crush is going to be there. Against Lemon Trim Buddy Rose. The next Friday, of course, we're back in the fairgrounds, like I said. Crush and Doll are going to wrestle the Bruise Brothers. Mike Miller is going to take on, hey, brother, Brickhouse Brown. Get down. Yeah. And then next Saturday, of course, we're right back here. Thursday, the 9th, we're going to be in Salem at the Army 745. So, people, all I want to say is, Channel 12, thank you for everything. And tomorrow on Uncle Milk, goodbye, hair. To Sandy Barr. Adios. See you later, Wally Gator.
So, Matt, you recently saw the Andre the Giant documentary. What are your thoughts on the documentary?
I really liked it. It was really well done. It's, we talked about earlier kind of comparison to the Flair. They're both a similar tone in the sense of sadness. Like, you realize these guys had less than happy lives, for characters that were so vibrant and colorful on stage. You should watch it, if only for some of the stories, like how Randy Savage was terrified of him. Other things like that. It's really good. It's a good story, and it makes you think back and because I remember when I first saw him, I just thought, oh, that guy's big. I didn't think, as a kid, you don't always put it together.
No.
As I think seeing something, which is why live shows are important. But there's a line in there by Hogan talking about how he sees him come out when he was a kid, and he saw his head and shoulders were above the audience. And it made me think instantly of Rocky 3 when Thunder Lips is coming out. And Rocky's like, why are they carrying him?
He's walking.
It's such a great line, because it's such an innocent, oh, why are they carrying him? So I would highly recommend it. If you're a wrestling fan, you're going to enjoy it. Seeing McMahon, Hogan, other casts that you're kind of gotten used to over the years speak about it so reverently and intimately is really, really interesting. I think if you're not a fan of wrestling, you'll still enjoy it, because his plight of being a man with giganticism, the illnesses and the health issues he had, it really is heart-wrenching,
And people forget. I mean, most people see Andre towards the end of his career.
Right.
But not a lot of people saw like this super duper athletic Andre from earlier in his career.
Yeah.
And for a man of that size, being able to pull up some of the maneuvers he was able to do is amazing. Like, he was a hell of an athlete. He wasn't just a big dude. He was not fucking giant Khali or Great Khali. Like, this guy could go. He can go.
Right.
And I think that gets kind of lost in the ether because, you know, we see him post 1985.
Right. Well, they do say that when he broke his ankle, it was kind of when the cable wrestling took off.
Yeah.
And when he came back, it did slow him down. Because you think he comes back in, let's say, mid 84, 85, and like really strong again, if you will, for him. And still he's slowed down. Like, so by 87, 86, 87, when he's, you know, going into WrestleMania 2, then WrestleMania 3, and they're doing that, it's the last hurrah.
Yeah.
You know, and this, I won't give it away, but there's a really good analogy for why the match was so big and important, and it put a spin on WrestleMania 3 I never thought of before, that I recommend you see, because it'll make you think the same thing, I think.
I mean, I think it was one of these documentaries that needed to be, it's a story that needed to be told. It's a documentary that needed to be done. And I'm curious if they, you know, maybe they option it into a movie. Odd that we get a Page movie and not an Andre the Giant movie, but that's a whole other thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that's a story that needs to be told. And I think, you know, Andre the Giant is very pop culture. You know, would be his movie, you know, he's in Conan the Barbarian, he's in Princess Bride, you know, he did commercials. You know, he is pop culture. I mean, Andre the Giant does have a posse. So just keep that in mind.
Yes. God.
I remember seeing that like in New York City. I don't know what year it was. It had to be 90s, early 2000s maybe. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I saw the stickers everywhere. I was like, oh, that's fucking sweet. That's fucking sweet. So as we move on from WrestleMania, it's always important to talk about the Raw after WrestleMania. I'm not sure what year this became a thing, but the Raw after WrestleMania is extremely important. It kind of sets the stage for what they're going to do for the next year. You often get a lot of debuts and a lot of feuds starting off. So Matt, what are your thoughts on the Raw after WrestleMania?
Well, this year wasn't bad. It just, again, the Bayley Sasha thing, shit or get off the pot. Like, really. You know, it just doesn't work anymore if you're going to keep doing this. And you could do so much. You could have Bayley change your look and do a different look. You know, Sasha Banks is Sasha Banks. I don't like her anyway, so whatever.
Because she lands on her face all the time.
Yeah, it's tough. She's going to die in the ring if she's not careful. There were some good debuts. I think, you know, that Authors of Pain coming out with Paul Ellering and leaving him behind was like, what? You know, I think so much of it is there's no off season. There's no like finale. So there's always got to be something to kind of propel things along. And that makes for a exhaustion factor where I think some guys, like, you know, Chris Jericho pops back in here and there and it's like, oh, Chris Jericho, yay. You know, but I also feel like it's because he does like once every 3 or 4 years, you know. I want to say that, you know, Roman Reigns' speech when he came out was pretty flat again because it's like the guy, just let the guy be a heel. Like, I don't know if you want to, I was thinking the other day about this, like, you know, how could you turn him heel? Would you just have him, you know, turn on someone like Daniel Bryan? You know, that would get him over as the super heel, you know, like cost Daniel Bryan the championship. I'm just trying to think what would be the best way to get him over the
super punch a Make-A-Wish kid.
Here's the winner of the Warrior Award. Oh my God! Well, you got to say though, I was saying the other day, like, if you had that kid Nicholas take a bump at the show, you know, you have him a waiver and he takes either the accidental bump where it's like he gets hit by an elbow by accident, or he just takes a boot to the gut and like he's gonna give him a power bomb and then he stop. You know, I call it the little Beaver effect. Like when Little Beaver got smushed by King Kong Bundy.
Yeah.
It was brutal, but you don't forget it. That was amazing. If you had a 10-year-old kid and you put him in the human torture rack, visually, that just looks ridiculous.
Right.
But who hasn't done that to their, you know, niece or nephew? By the way, I can't babysit anymore. No. So, anyways, to get off that topic, Raw I think was okay. I just think that the Roman Reigns thing, man, it's just like Samoa Joe came back and was like challenging him a feud, and Samoa Joe cut him up pretty good as promo wise, but nothing crazy. Like No Way Jose came out. This is the one thing where I thought was okay. Here we kind of hit our maximum. No Way Jose comes out, and he's the guy from NXT who dances around. He's all, Mr. Good Spirits. And he falls into that weird silo of the JYDs, the Adam Roses, the Godfathers, the guys that are just, going to dance around and be a harmless person. They don't really ever have a legit threat as a championship contender. And he came out followed by like 30 people doing conga line. Adam Rose just popped in my head.
Yeah.
And I thought, is this going to work? Like, is he going to be dancing in like a few weeks and just be like, this sucks? So I kept thinking, okay.
I wonder if he's going to hang out with like the Shining Stars. Or the clones, or whatever you
like,
want
are they going to do a ethnic gang or whatever, or group? The stereotypes still kind of pop out. Like, okay, he looked fine in the ring with a squash match. He won in like 30 seconds, whatever it was. But I just think, no, like they're like, oh, he's so happy and Latin superstar, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, really? What else can you do here? Is he going to have some kind of like ethnic food too, and some music?
To come out with fucking maracas and shit.
Yeah, like, hey, he's wearing a sombrero. That's not even the right culture. Shut up. Like.
Oh, they don't know. But I like to see the return of Joe. That was good.
Yes.
It looks like they're going to go Joe and Roman Reigns. Although I'm pretty sure everyone's going to cheer for Joe. So.
Yes. But
Joe should cut a promo. Like, I don't know why he hasn't cut a promo. It was like, to me, the angle of Vice itself was like, I had to work really hard to get here, yet everything handed to you because of who your family is. I don't give everyone a news flash. Everyone in Samoa hates them because they think they're better than everyone else. And like you go from there. That's the way I would do it. But yeah, that's the Raw after WrestleMania. Again, adding another 3-hour show again. That's a lot of shit to watch over a weekend. And that's not even counting if you watch any of the independents that were going on that weekend. Oh, look at this. Meltzer gave Gargano and the ladder match 5 stars.
Did he?
Yeah. The last time he had 2 5-star matches on the show. That's what Twitter said. But who knows? Speaking of Twitter, nice segue. Recently I've been watching a lot of posts, especially the WrestleMania weekend. A lot of people are complaining, which is, well in their rights to do. But I find it weird and maybe a little bit hypocritical. If you're a person that goes on Twitter and complains about other people complaining without referencing the conversation of what you're talking about, it's weird to me. Because I think that's kind of hypocritical. I can't believe everyone's complaining about this stuff. Why can't they just shut up and enjoy it? Blah blah blah. That's weird to me. Like, if you're gonna bitch at someone for complaining, like, reply to them and tell them, stop complaining, you dingus. But people complaining about other people complaining it's America 2018. It's weird. All right, guys, so before we go, I do want to talk about what you're seeing on the screen currently. For this episode of the 84 Project, we are having our national tag team tournaments. Don't forget, those titles are vacant due to the fact that the Road Warriors defeated the Freebirds for the NWA World Tag Team Championship at Showdown HJ. So we're having a national tag team tournament. So that's pretty cool. And the next 2 episodes will be closed circuit events. So one live from the Omni in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, and the other one from the LA Memorial Arena in Los Angeles, California. So be on the lookout for those 2 episodes. Those are coming out in the next 2 weeks.